out, that's for sure, as we're heading over to Inferno for this best of one. Another opening match, so nothing at risk for either team here. No elimination or anything like that, of course, this early on in the event. But still, the start of your event, potentially an easier path towards the final for you, so still an important one at that. It's going to be Ancient on the T side. They'll start things out with a bit of a split play here. No aggression towards either side right from the beginning, and it's Cr4zy on the CT side.
Yeah, they got that little jump down to look into second mid, so they actually saw a couple of people there. That should help them out some. We'll see. Oh, good shot there. And Otto actually following up, taking down Rusty and Drake, and that's everything you could have dreamt of. Plopsky, he's going to get one in return. Might not have been necessary, but they should still be fine here on the Cr4zy side.
Plopsky, one of the younger players from Ancient we were looking to step up in this match, is going to be just left with Freddie B at this point, and asking them to step up on this round might be a little bit too much. They're still going to try and slow play this. Hope they can get away with something to maybe throw them back into this round. Obviously, it's Inferno, so it's still a very heavily divided map when it comes to the way the CTs need to spread out their resources. So there's hope, especially if they can get this kill against Esperanto, but the trick has been revealed. We're going to see the full rotate from Nexa in just a second, more than likely as well, once they've wrapped around the corner here. So while, of course, Esperanto is still going to be alone on the site, we'll have support from Nexa further back towards CT to try and hold these guys off. Smoke actually still available. I missed that too from the T's, so they'll be able to push up, but immediately the rotates are here, and this is where this is going to get a lot more difficult for Ancient. They see the flower pot boost up, though, so catch that. Freddy's going to take some heat, though. Esperanto would take him out, all on Plopsky now in the 1v3. He's been pincered, picks up one, but will ultimately go down to Esperanto, giving Cr4zy the pistol.
There was a moment, I think, of opportunity. Catching that boost was pretty good, but obviously Esperanto doing a fine job falling back, and he knew not to face that over at Banana, so can't really play better than that, I think. It's going to be Cr4zy picking up the opening round, and with no bomb plant, Ancient are going to be just waiting out a little bit, buying in the next round instead. They do have a single flashbang, so see what happens. Plopsky's probably, I'm guessing, going to throw that, for the mid push, so they're just going to try and run it down. Oh, he's waiting a little bit, and that wait time, that does a lot of damage.
Massive amount here, so this should be a quick cleanup for Cr4zy. Already 3, 4, and Draken's the last one left standing, so that's going to be another quick closeout for Cr4zy. There's barely any damage being taken at all. Hunter ends up with a quick 4K, and yeah, pretty straightforward round at the end of the day. Especially after that very, very on-point nade into mid.
Yeah, it's like I guess they in turn got delayed by a flashbang, but it's almost like, again, just keep going. Like, you have one shot with blocks and a flashbang. Like, again, any kind of hesitation, I think is going to probably be the end. Now, a bit of a bonus round here for Cr4zy, Ancient with all the AKs and a lot of SMGs on the CT side. So they could make this one work, Ancient. They should have the firepower to make it happen.
Oh, you always got to be careful that last second spread. We'll see it. Freddie B is going to take a lot of damage, though, ultimately, and be knocked out a few seconds later by Nexa on the push down Banana. They pinch him right behind logs there. He doesn't feel safe enough to fall back, so it's going to cost him the early life here at the beginning of the round as Ancient will have to go down to 4. Still stuck at mid 2. So early days here. We'll have to see how they build up on this later in the round.
Yeah, that was a nice use of grenades. He survived the Molotov, but the HE got him, and then the MP9 up close ended him. So Freddie B not exactly going to be happy about that scenario. Still, 3 smokes and a couple of flashbangs to work with here on the Swedish side. We'll see how that plays out. So they could do a lot with this. Need to get past Nexa first. He spots them out. He has a smoke, so at 45 seconds, that's a really big problem for Ancient. That smoke is going to be an issue, and actually Esperanto's here is over the flashbang, so yeah, the timing for the smoke going down, that should be almost everything, shouldn't it?
Crossfire here as well from Cr4zy.
Wow.
Could still do a lot of damage, and yeah, the smoke moves its way in. Unfortunately, it looks like Ancient are still going to try to work their way past it, but they're going to have issues now as Esperanto is able to work his way directly outside. Flash is coming in on that one too. Knocks out Rusty and Disco. The flank not going to be too powerful here as Otto is caught relatively quickly, so they managed to catch on to that at a minimum. They could battle their way back out to A from this too now because the full rotate already have, but there's just no time. Unfortunately, Ancient are not going to be able to make it work. They're falling back into spawn. This round's going to Cr4zy.
Yeah, if they'd had like 5 more seconds, they could have made it to the plant zone, but it wasn't going to be possible. I mean, that was everything you'd want out of a B defense. It's sort of unfair because it was Esperanto that picked up the kills, but it was Nexa inside. He set up the smoke. They had to push through it, and as they came through, he set up the flashbang for these 2 kills. So he sort of He didn't get the numbers on the board, but he did set it all up. So nicely done from Nexa. And Cr4zy going to win that third round. And that was I don't know, that's a bit of a shock to Ancient, I think.
When you consider the still low bot circumstances, or at least the lackluster gun power that Cr4zy we're going to have going into that round. Still good utility, though, and we're able to leverage that really well, especially on the B site, to fend off the push from Ancient and ultimately trip them up on the execute here. So they're back down onto a bit of a mixed buy now. Some players forcing in for AKs, others are going to save a little bit more cash. And overall, just another slow-played beginning to the round for them, as they don't have the capability to force anything on the site in the early round.
Oh, no, that's going to be a nice job, and even getting the time to fall back, which is really the only other problem you could have run into there, was being stuck behind the sandbag, so he's going to be just fine with that. And, I don't know, this one smoke left on Rusty, that does narrow the options a lot for Ancient. They're kind of being picked apart here early on. Solid defense right now from that CT side.
Same problem again for Ancient here. If they want to go into B, they're going to be walking right into a crossfire. Not so much anymore now that Esperanto's moved to the site, but they're going to have the boost up onto New Box to play off of. And more than likely, with auto rotating back in, that crossfire comes alive once again. It gets even stronger. It seems like Cr4zy just kind of locked into the number for these guys. They're going to read the push. Drops the bomb in the process, too. It's not even really in a retrievable position. Freddy tries to get the better of Letney, but the opposite is true. And Auto instead will close things out back over on the B site, giving Cr4zy their fourth.
Without even losing a single player as well, Blue. So that makes a pretty big difference, right? That's going to bolster their economy a lot. And see what the Swedes can come up with. I feel like it's a little bit early to go for any kind of a tactical timeout, but maybe they need it just to try and think about what's going on right now. Definitely struggling a bit to pick up that first round, which, I don't know. B defense seems pretty good. The grenade usage good over there. Lots of other areas of the map that they haven't really tested out yet. So
yeah, thankfully it's still like very early days. You only had one true gun round for these attackers so far. So very strange to see them try to take that timeout, but ultimately, like, they did just come out flat on these first 4 rounds. Tried to go for basically that same B execute. It was split as well because they usually lost a few players at the beginning of it. So they tried to go for that, pretty much in all 4 rounds straight so far. And it just has not panned out. That crossfire, along with the timing on utility coming out from Cr4zy, has been too much to play against, and they've been ripped apart at essentially every attempt so far.
Let's see how they do now. Definitely with the chance to pick up all of the rifles they could possibly, well, more or less. UMP's on 2. I don't even think that's like such a massive deal, as long as they have the grenades to go with it. Let's see how they do this. They want to fight for Banana early on. Going to be able to put that down. Grenade follow-up, but still no real damage being exchanged just yet. That Molotov, oh, actually, Plopsky get sort of pushed into that, so they lose a little bit from it.
Going to take a good chunk of HP off of Plopsky, but ultimately Ancient are still going to be able to move in and take control of the majority of Banana. Now it's about getting onto B. This has been the tough part. You'll note, though, that there's a key player missing from the Cr4zy defense on this B site. Before, it had been at least 2 players holding here. Now it's down to just Esperanto. He doesn't have the usual support from Nexa, as he's holding back over in Cubby on A site right now, trying to put some extra defense. And it seems, though, however, this rotation from Cr4zy that happened early at the beginning of the round might work out. Nexa not to be the player that decides that once again, however. He's actually going to be forced back into the smoke through arches. Might have been a little bit of a misread or something, because he's actually rotating over towards B. We did have Plopsky still in position until a few seconds ago. In fact, he's still posing up on Banana, so he could be the one faking this, but we've got multiple members of Ancient ready to jump onto A at a moment's notice.
Disco Doblin firing that AK-47. Yeah, you're right. They must have felt like they got some kind of read. It looked like they had the perfect setup, 4 people at A, but now instead they kind of overthought it, and there's 2 people left on the A bomb side, and they need backup desperately. That's not going to be it. Hunter going down, Otto inside of the bomb site. They also have Letney here, but I don't think it's going to be enough to hold this one. Otto picks up the 1 kill, tries to get the transfer, 13 seconds left, and they are going to get the bomb plant here, so Cr4zy, it's a good enough attempt, but they're not going to be able to do this one. Esperanto, if they don't just fight him, he can't really find all these players in time.
He's got a few of them low, but as you were mentioning, the time to actually figure out where all these players are and then get the defuse on top of that is going to be a little bit too much to ask for. Exit kills, though, could be a really big deal right now because the large majority of them can't go into the little pit down below in the back of the site. They do have to work their way out of the site naturally, meaning they've got to fight Esperanto at the end of the day. He's going to get himself another engagement. This time's a little bit against Disco Doppler, but can beat him to the punch by going down to the bottom of the stairs. He's scared, though, of additional pressure working its way in from Boiler, so he does allow the large majority of the rest of Ancient to make it out alive, and he, too, is going to end up going down to the bomb at the end of the day, as Ancient get their first round on the board at 1-4.
Yeah, that was, I mean, the timing on that push was really incredible. I wonder what happens if you're Cr4zy and you go back and watch that demo and you think, well, if we'd stuck around for another like 5 seconds, that would have probably been fine. Yeah, I even want to go back and look at that round just to try and figure out, like, what was the thing that made them have that call? Because that's a really aggressive call. To put 3 people in B without having even run into anybody, you don't really do that unless you get some sort of info. Maybe we just didn't catch it, but that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, the only thing that I could have seen happening was because you had, I think it was Freddy sitting on Banana, and it looked like he was kind of going back and forth a little bit. I don't know if he was, chucking utility out and making, and they were rotating just based off of smokes or flashes that were being thrown onto the site. But from one player, that can't be that much to where they felt confident enough to fully rotate, 2 or 3 additional players over to that site. Something else had to have given them that idea as well, and it's just an unfortunate mystery at the end of the day that ends up costing them the round.
Yeah, something like that. There's the kind of things that, you always wish you could know exactly, because there's so much information, I think, about how the game is played that's hidden in that layer of it. Exactly what made you guys think this, and we don't really get to talk about it nearly often enough, but a little bit of I'm not sure. I'm guessing like some sort of tech issue they had to figure out.
I think tech issue, because I think we paused last round too.
Yeah.
For someone's PC there.
Someone's audio, someone's, I don't know.
Someone's headset or something. It's all right. It's already fixed, guys. We're going back in game now, and it's time to see if Cr4zy can quickly reverse their path after the unfortunate judgment call. And while Cr4zy's certainly going to be playing into the namesake, unfortunately not into the way the frags pan out. Disco picking up 2 out of 3. Them Rusty fends off a 3rd, and Cr4zy's attempt to get aggressive has bitten back against them in a major way. Esperanto attempting to hold at the top of Banana also goes down quickly, and just like that, the round is pretty much over.
Yeah. I'm really upset because I actually love that idea from the CT side. We see people sometimes do that if it's somebody peeking with an orb. But this time they had one guy in the apartments, one guy running to second mid from middle instead. So they had I think even a 3rd person there. So they just had a bunch of people that were ready to peek behind that flashbang that goes over the building. I feel like that should work better. Somehow it even looked like they were ready for it, because who was that opening up? I guess that was Disco Dublin. He was in the door. Like, it seemed like he was just ready for it. I don't know how you could be, but he was. Yeah, look, he just turns around. Does he hear it? Maybe it's the steps. So they had 2 people coming there, 1 in the apartments, and they all get shut down.
Maybe you heard the apartments play or something like that beforehand, and then was able to judge it from the push from alt mid, or at least he got lucky and caught the push from alt mid there too. Either way, a good read from Disco and the rest of Ancient, once again fending off Cr4zy's aggression here in an attempt to turn it back around. And that's going to allow for Ancient to be in a pretty good position now. Still had a little bit of money to burn down on Cr4zy, so they're going to end up with potentially one final buy here. But after that, the CT should be sitting pretty lax on money. So this is the last chance that Cr4zy really have to make sure they preserve their lead before Ancient can be able to close the gap.
Money left, yeah. Not looking good for the CT side. Actually, surprisingly good for Ancient, though. They have a very good shot at doing this. That's the second last smoke going down there in the middle at 1 minute and 8 seconds. That's not good news if you're on the CT side. That means this last one, which is on Letney, and he's over at the pit, which is, well, it's not really the last place. That's not the best place to have the smoke. That B player needs it. If there's only one left, let's at least have it be on the B bomb side, and you could tell they're all stacking up. This is a really good call for Ancient.
Ancient's going to get good timing on the smoke too. It will hold off additional pressure from rotating into from CT. Esperanto tries to spam in from the Crypts and is not going to catch really anything whatsoever. He tries to make a push outside, but has missed the fact that they've already pushed up to Grill. Nexa will find one trade, but shortly lived as he immediately goes down to Plopsky. No one else from Cr4zy really in position to do massive impact at this point. Otto does a good job of catching the rotate from Disco back over by Arches. But now Hunter, who sits alone at the moment over in Garden, is going to have to try to work his way back out onto the B site. Other players also rotating in. Otto's going to get caught back by CT. And again, Ancient just given too long to solidify their position in post plan. Hunter tries his best to work in, gets one, but he loses his teammate to the final trade from Freddy. Solidifies it for Ancient as they bring it up 3-4 now.
A good round for Freddy, I think, there. Triple at the end, so really picking it up. And again, I think just a great call. When you're on that T side and you haven't heard any more smokes going down for, let's say, 10, 15 seconds, there should be somebody on the team who says, oh, by the way, just so we're all in agreement, they don't have any more grenades, do they? And that does make everything so much easier. So really impressive. Good call. Now, one flashbang, one HE grenade. Cr4zy out of money. That's going to be a problem. I think Ancient out, they're bouncing back very quickly in this game now.
And it's mainly off of catching some of the more aggressive plays from Cr4zy. Also a misread back on Ancient's first buy round. They really started to throw this back in the other direction, and Cr4zy, although they had a solid start, 4-0 in fact, they've been unable to leverage any further rounds since then. So got Ancient in good position. Letney, though, with a position he could use against Rusty. He's going to catch him. Gonna throw out some nades. He doesn't confirm the kill, though. Rusty just barely able to escape. Makes out of there with 6 HP.
How is that even possible?
I don't know. Jumped down just in time. The last bullet grazing right past him.
It almost looked like the CC just pushed him off the ledge, didn't it?
To a certain extent, yeah. It looked like it might have actually saved his life. Freddy, though, is going to be able to start turning this around as he finds Letney back by mid.
Yeah, they're back towards the B-bomb site. So Cr4zy have kind of seen this coming. They have a 3-man stack. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Like, it's a good call, and it's the best chance they've got, but still, the grenades here should be the difference for the Swedish side. Going to be opening up with one there. Nexa to pick that one up. The smoke, and in the back, Esperanto. He will pick up one kill, but it won't quite be enough, and Hunter will be the last one left.
Already making his way into the church, and now back outside. He's going to attempt one more play here. Taking his time with it, hoping he can catch Ancient in a little bit of an over-aggressive move to drop at least 1 or 2 more of these rifles and punish the T side a bit. Comes close to tapping away onto Disco Doppelin, but does not close out. So at the end of the day, Ancient will get the tie now at 4-4. Both teams bring it back after a good streak at the start of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a pretty big turnaround. Cr4zy, though, just because they do seem like the more established team, I could imagine how it might be more tricky for Ancient playing the CT side to find, good structure. So it's actually a bit shocking that Cr4zy aren't doing better at this point in time, just because I feel like they should have a bit of an upper hand here. They do have a buy-in, but again, lacking in the grenades, no defuse kit picked up on anybody. And this seems like a little bit of a contact play over at Banana, then they run back and they get slowed down. If they keep pushing, that would actually have been really good timing. They could have hit that A-bomb site before even Otto showed up with the AWP.
Some good damage coming out from HE nade that hit Ancient on the Banana approach. Is going to knock off 20 or 30 HP from a good 3-4 players here, but they do have to reverse their push over towards the A side at the end of the day. Will work their way in. Letney and Hunter striking first for Cr4zy. The smokes playing into both sides of the argument now on the push. As Disco Doppelin is able to find a pickup here. Ancient starting to look weaker and weaker, though, because of the free kill that Cr4zy got. Otto still able to push out from Graveyard. Finds another frag against Disco before Draken responds right back in his own regard. Some damage on Hunter, too. They can push him into a corner. At least do the damage necessary to force him into the open where Freddy gets the finisher. Ancient might have gone behind, but they're certainly not giving up anytime soon. They've done a great job, especially with the kill on sight. Trading this back, and now they'll get the bomb down. You've got Esperanto, though, sneaking onto the site, finds one for free. Missed Draken going into the corner, though. He's going to close out, but a missed top track. Good cost him, no! The last second whip on the pistol knocks out Nexa, and it's Ancient to pick up the round.
Oh man, he was so ready for that. He knew that if he missed that shot, it was pistol time. No head armor on any other players actually on the CT side. I think it was probably within range where that P250 would have done it anyway, but still, great stuff here from Draken. That's kind of what we like to see. Nexa getting shut down at the end. Down to a one-on-one, and now no more money left on the CT side. I think, oh man, this first half has really, really gone from like a good start to now they're in trouble, and even getting shot through the wall. My God.
Rusty with a good find on that one. And Ancient continue to show more and more dominance here in the early game. Good start for them to be sure. Cr4zy's going to try to pick up one more too. Should be able to get it as he slowly weans Nexa out of that position. Still have Esperanto sitting behind the crypts too. Cr4zy in position to kill him, but Esperanto gets the better of it with the Deagle there. Slowly tapping away with it. Finds a trade.
Yeah, a lot of chances with that Deagle, and eventually it'll connect. That does a little bit of damage. It's really not a lot to celebrate at this point in time. They just need to start winning rounds here. 6-4, almost certainly Otto here with the P250, but they're going to check him up close. Does a lot of damage, but the AK is all they're going to have for now. I would say they need to get up to like 8 rounds or something here crazy. They really need to start winning. I mean, 7, 8 at least. I think they're going to be in trouble otherwise. Ancient, we'll find out if they're going to be just as good on the CT side, but this is a pretty big turnaround.
It's a massive turnaround, and again, it's just capitalizing on mistakes that we've been seeing made by Cr4zy, who at the beginning of this round, again, picked up at least the one frag earlier on, but just not really able to find anything else besides that. So Ancient are going to be able to soar ahead once more at 6-4. And again, it's in clean fashion, too. The money is looking really healthy for Ancient in terms of a long run here. So much so that they can pretty liberally move out and look for the ability to hunt down Esperanto. But he's in safe quarters. There's zero chance of anybody finding him. He's definitely going to make it out of the round with that AK. The question is, what will the rest of his team have going into the follow-up?
Yeah, they haven't really had that luxury that we do see a lot of CT sides have, and it does become a big problem. If you're going to be defending Banana aggressively, you need all the grenades. They have a lot more of them now. They've also had Esperanto kind of defending it alone much of the time. In that case, you definitely want him to have, like, preferably both smoke and like some sort of Molotov, but if that's not going to be the case, a big opportunity there for Otto, and he just can't connect on it. That would have been a shot worth hitting.
Nearly on point too, so just had to be a few pixels off. And potentially some movement penalties costing him. Esperanto is going to get hit by the nade here. This is probably going to force Cr4zy back a bit. They're still throwing some aggression at Banana, but for the most part, Ancient are not really trying to throw aggression at it to begin with. As you can see, there's a lot of presence from them on the inside of the apartments. They're going to start to work their way out through here. Of course, having to try and get the CTs to waste utility. They'll fish at least one volley out into the open. Smokes are starting to look a little bit low on the CT side too. Only about 2 left for them to play with here.
I think maybe Otto got wallbanged. I mean, it's not a lot, but it is actually, there's actually a lot of that wall over in like that you can shoot through so much of it, and you never really see people do it. Maybe underutilized in some sense. Otto gonna walk right into it. Draken there, ready and waiting at 40 seconds. They've been so aggressive early on here on the Swedish side that actually Cr4zy, even though they had so many grenades, now they've used them all. They've been forced to use so many of them from all the early aggressions. That's interesting. Letney here in the graveyard. He needs perfect timing, and it's not going to happen. Hunter goes down. They needed to work together, those 2 A players. Otherwise, that was never going to be a thing. And hard for him to know, like, he's not the one with any vision, so he almost has to, like, just count the second in his head and stand up, and it happened exactly 1 second too late, so Esperanto seems like he's sort of the permanently playing alone to try and save weapons, and this time I don't think it can be done.
Esperanto going to get pushed out eventually by Arches, and that'll secure the round for Ancient as they continue to push ahead. This is 7 rounds straight for them. Certainly an impressive start after Cr4zy got off to a good beginning, but Cr4zy's been making so many mistakes, hitting way too over-aggressive, either not collecting enough intel or just not having it. In the case of that last execute from Ancient, where too much utility was used in the early round, and then because of the fact that Ancient still had the large majority of theirs, well, they could just completely bombard the site with it and use that to take quick control of A, which is exactly what they did. Completely flustered those last 2 players that were sitting on the site by the end for Cr4zy as well.
Well, I think you could, now that we have a timeout anyway, I think you could try and break down why that setup was almost always going to be a problem. So they had Letney playing Graveyard on those stairs, they had Hunter in the back, but because he's so far back in the bomb site, and he's in some ways like the main point of contact, but he's going to make that call to Letney by the time they're all on the bomb site. So like the delay between him saying, oh, they're here, and him being dead is like going to be very slow, unless they push the apartments first. Now, if they did that, he could see them at long range, and then Letney could stand up and or like get some sort of kill. But I feel like you need more advanced warning. Like if you had one guy in pit that could take up a little bit of the fight, and then the Graveyard player comes out, that's different. But they were so far back, so I kind of feel like maybe, I don't know, that would have been hard to follow through on. Esperanto, though, he really wanted to take a risk and try and bring them back. I can kind of understand why, but it doesn't work out. Draken there with the AWP, hitting a shot.
It's going to cost Cr4zy. Their only real primary weapon they have to work with in this round right now, except for Letney's SMG. There still might be a little bit of room for someone to try and sneak in later on and play with this, as Ancient, of course, is still sitting on all full weapons, but definitely not going to be a round maker, that's for sure. As we've got Ancient basically just going to kind of walk into A for the most part. Not much of a resistance, especially on Porsche side. You've got Otto that can definitely get a little bit of intel if he tries to push out of Cubby. And he is actually going to be able to steal one kill. It's a bit of damage onto his second too. But again, like I was saying before, the site is open for the taking. Ancient, again, will walk right on top, with there only being one true defender and him being dealt with quickly, leaving just Nexa and Hunter in the fold now. Both players split, and primarily going to be looking for exits, considering it's just Cr4zy's.
Not much else they really can do either. The problem sometimes when you're playing the kind of half here that Cr4zy are playing, because they did have a lot of aggressive pushes early on, you've kind of taught the T side to be worried about that. So now that you're back and playing defensively, chances are if you go back and try and play aggressive early on, they're going to be mentally ready for it. It'll be a lot harder to try and do it. So trying to think about what is left at the moment for a team like Cr4zy to pick up, assuming they can get all the guns and the rifles here. 8 in a row for Ancient. So impressive here playing the T side. After the tactical timeout, you know, turning it around, making sure things are a little bit better. Always am a big fan of whenever people try and retake Banana on the CT side, like later on. So like you throw out like maybe a smoke or something like in the beginning, then you fall back and let them have it, and then you just try and get the timing right, flash your way back in and take a fight. That is a lot of fun. Carries a lot of risk with it, of course.
So moving into the next round, we're going to see Cr4zy once again. Not any huge early aggression from them. Obviously, you've got them posturing up on Banana, but they're not going to try to push half wall or anything like that. So a few mines going to be thrown back at them. This one's actually going to trap them in for a second, but thankfully CT utility is still good. Nexa is going to get burned out. I think an HE helping out with that one too to eliminate Freddy B early on. Gives Cr4zy the advantage. Plopsky took a load of damage from all this utility too. So he's got to be very careful about the way he proceeds. And Otto, although he takes a lot of heat from it, he is able to knock out Disco Doppelin. Finally, the aggression from Cr4zy panning out for the first time in just about 8 rounds.
Yeah, that was huge. Nice use of utility over at Banana, and even better for them to fall back afterwards. That there's no point in sticking around. Esperanto here is still with the smoke, and I think Nexa has, well, yeah, he's got one too, and a flashbang, so that'd be very hard to make your way through. There's the first smoke out, 50 seconds, and if they wait now and think, okay, we'll wait the smoke out and then we'll go, Nexa's going to have the next one, and then at that point, we're down to like 35 seconds, and that is, like, then you're in trouble. Next, he's just waiting for it. Yeah, there we go, 35. He's going to put it up again, and they're going to be so sad on the other side, Ancient. They're really not going to love that.
And ultimately, because of the lack of time, will have no choice but to force themselves through this. So in they're going to go. Flashes against Nexa is good, and of course they have the CT player smoked out, so they do make their way in, but the pinch is still very real. Nexa doing a great job with positioning. As far as a little bit at the start, but picks up the first kill easily. Esperanto gets the second. Draken is all that it's left as he kind of awkwardly stares back at the site with less than 10 seconds left to play with a 1v5 before. There is no chance, so Cr4zy. A nice rebound after 8 rounds straight from Ancient. They pick up their first in a while, and it's with all 5 players still alive.
Yeah, that was really nicely done. I mean, you see the power of utility playing on this B-bomb side. To win the Banana fight, you can't always get, you know, this lucky with it, or just have this timing. But yeah, then the follow-up, saving the grenades, smokes at the end, it's really well done. You see Ancient, like they actually just pushed through the smoke, which they almost had to, and that could have been the end of them already. There is no one holding it, but even then, when they then spread out onto the bomb site, they've got like 15 seconds to try and find 2 people and put the bomb down. It's so hard to do. So yeah, it puts so much pressure on that T side. 8-5. That, I mean, it's something. If Cr4zy could win the next 2 rounds, I think that would make up a little bit for it. I still think they're in trouble, but we'll see what happens now.
General 8 rounds on T side is still going to be a pretty big advantage, especially if we are to assume that Ancient gets a good start on their own CT side. Only G grenades into the back of the B site from Ancient, try and catch some of the members of Cr4zy. But Cr4zy are once again leaning pretty heavily on their A defense to save them in this round, and that could be a pretty big mistake, especially if Esperanto gets caught early on. There's no sign of any early rotate to be seen from Cr4zy, such as reading into this banana push.
I'm so confused about why he's playing so far outside of the bomb site. Unlike earlier, he's got no smoke. So if they go, he can't really stop them.
Even got Disco trying to posture up for A pressure too, so that's more than likely keeping a good amount of the roster from Cr4zy tethered to the A site, despite the pressure that's working its way in from Banana. Esperanto going to be able to spot one of them on the push, but in his rotate back through the church, he's going to completely miss the execute. They walk right up on top of him. He's still nearly able to get 2 kills, but doesn't actually get the confirmation on any of them. It's Nexa that strikes first after Plotsky takes down Esperanto in the back. Now the bomb will go down. Cr4zy with the manpower to rotate back in. Do they have the positioning and, more importantly, the time to get past all 4 of the setup from Ancient? Good nades. Auto striking first for Rusty, though. And Freddy looking away at the wrong time. He's going to get caught by Nexa.
This retake is going so much better than I was expecting for Cr4zy. I don't think they should have won this round, but they absolutely are. Credit to them. I really liked almost nothing about this defense. I mean, the one thing is the one B defender playing outside of the B bomb side. Maybe I could even be okay with that, but then the other 4 people who are at A, I need them, like when you're sub 40 seconds, I need those guys to at least try and peek into middle. Like do something. You need to get your B players some kind of a heads up, because otherwise he's just going to be completely in the dark. And why have 4 people on A if absolutely none of them are going to even like get a little bit of info to play off? So I'm impressed. I really did not think that was going to be around for Cr4zy at all. It looked like that was a loss almost immediately. But they somehow fought their way back, so kind of impressive retakes. 6-8 now, and moving into round number 15. Last one before the half, and yeah, we'll see. They get one more round here, Cr4zy. I think it's still a pretty open game, actually. It's starting to wake up a little bit again.
The large majority of Ancient again trying to throw that pressure towards Banana, and Cr4zy trying to resist it. They've got smokes down just past half wall now. A few HE grenades going directly on top of Nexa, nearly cost him his life actually. Loses exactly half. Won't see any pressure, at least not too early on coming in from Ancient on the A site, but it's there for sure, and it includes the bomb just on the inside of the apartments in the event that they want to switch the play up and work themselves into that site. B still seems to be the name of the game though, at least in terms of where they're throwing their pressure at. Auto is also going to work his way back over here around Cubby side, trying to see if he can find that early pressure coming into mid, but he's actually going to get it. He's going to be able to take down Draken. The bomb drops with it. Smokes from the sneakies will go out on top of it, which inadvertently allows Ancient to escape with the bomb. But regardless, first contact kill, along with a general lack of utility for Ancient in the late round, is probably going to cost them as Auto's allowed to poke back out for another pick, this time against Rusty.
Yeah, and what a Molotov. They couldn't even chase him down. They knew he was close, but that was really well timed. Letney going to pick up the kill on Popsky, and it's going to be 4 versus 2, and they're getting shot down. 7-8 in favor of Ancient, but a good comeback for Cr4zy here. We're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be back with the second half. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Second half coming up here between Cr4zy and the Ancient. And didn't really turn out how we were expecting there, Blue, at the beginning. It really looked like Cr4zy, which was the favorite team coming into this. We're going to be having a great first half. And Ancient just bounced back, so Swedish team looking good right now. What? That was a hit somehow. Well, fair enough.
Great way to start out the half. Disco steals 20 HP from Nexus. Same thing's going to happen to Letny, although it makes a bit more sense this time. You can see the nade path right in front of his face as it goes right on top of him, knocks out 40 more HP. Cr4zy are going to have to start out with a little bit less to play off of. Ultimately, though, it's still lining up for a quick banana push here as they've got all 5 players in line to go for it. Cr4zy and 2 others from Ancient. It's going to be Freddy and Rusty left to hold the line on B. They're going to be tested relatively quickly. Those rotates, of course, still going to be a few seconds away.
Cr4zy here. Is he going to be quick enough to throw out any kind of a grenade? He does have a smoke, but he's just waiting for it. They just want to fight them straight up, and with the boost in, that might be possible now. Yeah, as soon as he gets spotted, trying to fall back down. So the grenades here for the T side are working out wonderfully. They go down to the bomb side without losing anybody. They're going to get the bomb plant down. And so much damage exchange. Hard to say who's going to win it out. They have 2 smokes for the retake, though.
Toronto working his way back out. Actually picks up a double. Cr4zy and Disco Doppler go down. Hunter finding 2 as well, and Cr4zy able to relatively just clean things up. And at the same time, Draken has pretty much all of them on 1 tap right now. He's going to go for the outright 1v5. Timing, though, is not really going to be too kind to Draken in the long run of things. He works his way back out towards Garden. There's not a whole lot that he's being given in terms of angles to play off of. And Nexa will shut him down, ultimately giving Cr4zy the tie point at 8-8 and starting out the half in their favor once again.
If I had this setup that they just did on the defensive side, if I had one guy boosted, one guy CT spawned down on the low ground, and another guy at the coffins, and the guy on the low ground had a smoke, that was Cr4zy, I would just have that in my hand primed and just sort of peek in the corner. If they go, I just throw the smoke. I have like 2 more people who can shoot, but that would force the incoming Ts to basically run through the smoke, which is never really a good time. So I'm slightly confused. I guess the smokes are good for retakes too, but I don't know. I would just rather not even have them get close to that at all. Still, great push for Cr4zy, especially the afterplant. That was interesting to see.
The rest of Cr4zy pretty much going to try the same issue again, just force themselves onto the B site. No need to get too tricky with it right now. They're going to throw themselves up on the site. Pretty much minimal utility, too, besides the CT cross smoke. 1 more to go to the back of the site. And that's going to work to isolate out pretty much any pressure from Ancient.
Good save at this point, right? I think that's the way to go about it. I think they were thinking about it, but it doesn't really seem worth it.
They're in position. It looks like they were even trying to push Disco Doppler out as well to go for a banana pinch. But
yeah,
well, that's still going to be a possibility to deal some damage since he's probably the least bought in with the rest of their teammates. Actually fighting these guys is well out of the equation, as we can see the large majority of Ancient now just falling back, tail tucked between their legs. They're going to head into CT spawn, make it out of this round alive. Letny, they still have to transfer him, as you can see they're being a little bit scared, moving him out of the site. But still, Cr4zy should be able to keep the large majority of this roster up and running, as we'll see them pick up the 9th round, taking the lead again for the first time since they had that 4-0 start.
Yeah, and this is really the only real question in my mind with a team like Ancient is how are they going to be on the CT side. There really are some teams that struggle heavily with playing CT sides in general. There is like, I think, if you made like a brand new squad, like, you know, day 1, nobody's ever played with each other before, I would say you're going to have a much easier time picking up T rounds. Like, it's easier to make calls. People know the basic strategies, even if they haven't played them with each other. Whereas if you're playing on the CT side, you rely a lot more on intuitive timing and stuff like that. Now, Disco Doppler with 2 good kills to start of this round with. Unfortunately, they lost 1 to the Molotov at the end, so it kind of evens out. They might be able to do this, though. That's Scout and the CC. Scout does tag up Hunter, and he wants to still make it down. They need to be quick about it, and they are. So that was the last A defender. There's a chance there.
All you've got remaining is just a 5-7, and the AK specifically getting onto Rusty more than likely is going to end up just getting saved now. Maybe not, though. We'll see. Working their way up towards the site. Nexa will try to fight them first off. If Nexa holds the line, it at least goes 1 for 1. The last player probably is not going to attempt too much, although they've made it here with a good amount of time left, so could certainly attempt to go for something, but they're keeping themselves tucked to the outskirts for the most part. Not even really trying to go to the inside of apartments, so there we go. go. There's the push, a 1-for-1 exchange, and that kills any attempt to go for the clutch. So Rusty's going to start backing away to save that AK.
I know exactly how Disco Dublin's feeling. It's like, I was the guy behind the other guy. Why am I getting shot
Why am I
first?
dead?
Nice free fire from Otto. Did a fine job. Did probably ruin some of the furniture, but you know, what can you do?
I get to reset the next round anyway.
It does get reset. We need that technology in real life, don't we? Could you imagine, you know?
That's more simulation tech, right?
Yeah, well, you know, maybe one day, right? Like, you go to bed and your whole living room just cleans itself up. Like, you know, no matter how crazy the party's been, everything looks brand new.
All the bullet holes just get scrubbed out.
Well, I don't know how you party, Blue. I'm not gonna comment on that. You know, that sounds a little bit crazy. I just meant like regular kind of party.
Yeah, of course.
But fair enough. 10 to 8. It's gonna be round number 19 here. And just a 2-round lead for Cr4zy. Oh, but the timing of the flashbang. I know how Plopski's feeling as well. That's brutal. Esperanto with a beautiful entry, but the flashbangs paved the way there. That's how it should be. That's some good Counter-Strike.
It ultimately throws away what could have been the start of a decent gun round from Ancient. It's not really going to give them any capability to work towards anything at all. You can see they've got 3 players just tucked in pit in the A site. They are not trying anything. They're just going to try to keep all 3 of these players alive. As unfortunately, with as clean of an execute like that, there is no chance to stop it and pull off a retake. The round is over, and it's Cr4zy. It's going to go up to 11.
Yeah, really, you could tell starting out the second half with a lot of fire under them. Even some vandalism along the way. Just happy to do that. Yeah, no one even getting close to them. I was kind of hoping, because they have like 4 Molotovs left, so it'd be funny if they Molotov the whole pit, but nobody ever showed up, so fair enough. Otto, maybe last second peek in to try and take someone's head off. Could do it, but he's going to wait around. Maybe that's smarter. 11 to 8, though. Things looking very good right now for Cr4zy.
Just 5 rounds left for them, and they'll have control. We'll take a look at this execute one more time and see just how clean it was for Cr4zy working their way back in. The flashes were just before this clip started. And as you see, they just clean the floor with the defensive setup from Ancient right there. Cr4zy not giving Ancient any opportunity at all to close out. But thankfully, with 3 players still alive, they did have the gun power or the money power. Wow, what's happening here? Someone messed up a call on a smoke thrower or something like that, as that's way too much damage for Cr4zy to take. 3 players losing over 2/3 of their HP.
Now, if we could get the replay, I would bet you that the Molotov landed on them and then a grenade slowed them all down so they couldn't get out of it. I think it was like a sort of a double combo there. But that's pretty devastating. It's hard to convince yourself that this is going to be great. Don't worry about it. You know.
That's only 3 of us at near 1 shot.
Yeah, like if you put the 3 of us together, then we have about 100 health. So let's go.
It's like we have 3 players left, guys.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Timing. Oh, it could still be amazing. Good flashbang coming out there, or at least in the favor of Rusty. I think that was actually a team flash from Cr4zy, wasn't it? I think that was from the middle. There's so many things to research now. I want to know how that happened over at Banana. I also want to know about how that flashbang works. So let's see how much we can put on the production crew before they really start hating us. But 2 replays? Can we get that? I want to say that was a team flash, and if it was, well, it's going to require some kind of forgiveness, doesn't it?
Either way, Cr4zy's lost the narrative for this round. As all 3 players were affected by the molly that was thrown on Banana earlier on. It's the higher HP players, the ones that end up getting knocked out, leaving Otto, Letney, and Hunter with no HP to play between the 3 of them. They're trying to do something here, which is going to be fall back to spawn and save, ultimately, since there's no time left in the round. Ancient is going to take this one quite easily as they answer back and put a 9th round on the board for themselves, still keeping it close against Cr4zy in the overall game.
Yeah, nothing being hunted down here for the CT side, and you know, I don't really mind. Again, having that economy up and running is just so important. So maybe you could get 1 or 2 more rifles away from them, but if you lose 3 yourself, probably wasn't worth it. So trying to play it safe for the minute. 11 to 9. Ancient still not out of it. They've got that AWP on Draken, which again, that's always something everybody likes to see, isn't it?
Oh, let's see specifically what he's going to be able to get with the Plopski, eating a lot of damage from an HG. Actually, another one hitting him there in the process, too.
Yeah. The fact that he's so low now makes me think I wouldn't want to stand in the corner that he's in, but looks like he might be fine for the minute.
He's convinced to keep pushing it. He had a little bit of support from Draken further back at half wall, too, so I think that's why he continued the push, knowing that if he does go down, there's hopefully going to at least be a trade for it. This definitely for nothing. Freddy going to start to do a little bit of spam as the rest of Cr4zy work their way in past arches and try to wrap on Moto's side to get towards the A site. Very quickly, they're getting in position for this, but Ancient are also pretty much here on the rotate, too. Only one player still on B, and there's not a lot of utility on the site itself. All the utility was used on the outskirts, so Ancient are tearing this to shreds right now. 3 kills in their favor, not a single response from Cr4zy. Plopsky and Rusty pick up the last 2 kills. That's a very clean hold from Ancient.
Yeah, shockingly clean, honestly. That was, I don't know, in my mind that played out very differently, so... You're right, there were like 2 other people who were rotating through CT spawn that could have almost been there, but they were smoked off for a while.
Yeah.
So it looked to me like that could have been, you know, terrible. Rusty even sort of down on the pit, he was low on health, but he kept just even shooting into the hate card. It seems like such a small thing, but that does actually distract so much from anybody else. There's the aggressive push once again, and Plopsky, oh, it works out doubly, so taking down Letny. That's very good indeed. And Draken, oh, yeah, he actually hit that shot on Hunter. Ancient. Right back at the game. We had a really close fight, 16-14 the first game, and this one is sort of trending in the same direction, so you like day one to start out like this, don't you?
Yeah, some very close matches indeed. I think we're in for a close tournament overall when you look at the teams that we were able to scrape together for this one. So it's made for, at the very minimum, some very, very interesting opening matches. Especially when you look at the, expected result to come out of some of these. I think people were expecting these to be a little bit more one-sided, but so far they haven't been the case. They've been holding up, and Cr4zy, who I think was expected to close out on this one, hasn't been able to hold as strong of a grasp against Ancient as I think some people might have been expecting.
It's very much up in the air right now. CT side here looked questionable to me at the beginning, but now it's really starting to shape up. And they have the economy to just power it forward. In fact, they've got the economy to power this forward for a very long time. Disco Dublin picking up a couple there. And Otto, well, don't know what he could do.
Bye. He's going to back away, unfortunately.
Yeah, they have very little money on the T side, so probably a good idea.
Thankfully, he doesn't have a whole lot of pressure towards spawn, so he's should be in pretty safe quarters to back away, although that extra 8 seconds, and Ancient now realizing that he's backed up, you can see that swarm of blue dots starting to move towards him. So maybe the pressure's going to work its way onto him eventually. It's been found out now by the Bridge living room. Let's see if he can make it out of the round in time. No, the missed point blank op shot sells it away. It's going to get dropped, so it's a full wipe. Again, coming in from Ancient here. No saves at all this time around for Cr4zy.
That's it. That's just such a ridiculously aggressive push, isn't it? Down banana. It's kind of funny that they grouped up for Disco Dublin at the end there. 16 kills on him, so he's actually leading the board right now for Ancient. And I think the desk did mention this. It could have been Disco Dublin, could have been, you know, Draken, a couple of players on this team that we know could have a pretty big impact. 23rd round, all tied up.
Plopsky, another player as well, a bit younger, a little bit less known overall compared.
How did they come up with these names, Blue?
What, Plopsky?
Yeah.
I don't know. You're preaching to the choir in my case. In NA, we just have to deal with players that just spell their names the wrong way and then want it pronounced the right way.
Well, we got Ethan to fix it.
Yeah.
He's back to spelling the yeah, we need to make a blanket ban on that.
He's not the only one, though. That's the problem. You got all these, there's all these like open level players and whatnot that do that too.
Listen, just a warning, if you do that, we'll bully you until you change it, spell it the right way around. I'll just never stop doing that. It has to end. There's just no reason for it. It's 2019. Need to put that to rest.
Cutler used to do that too.
Yeah, I know.
Reltuck or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it used to be.
Just let's not, you know. Oh, but that is
That's
annoying.
mean.
That's really mean.
So next is going to get burnt out. Ironically, it's the bomb that ends up getting dropped for that one too, so that is going to force Cr4zy into an execute that they probably weren't really ready for, but ultimately would have had to do anyway. As they're just going to get torn to shreds on this round. Not much being brought to it to begin with, so ultimately the expected result, but still, doesn't help Cr4zy's case to see Ancient burning them down like that.
No one, I mean, the truly terrifying fact is that the Swedish team now just has so much money to work with that Cr4zy would actually need to win like 3 rounds in a row to start to, you know, damage the economy of Ancient, and at that point, I mean, then the game is kind of back in their favor. But honestly, that's hard to even imagine right now. It doesn't seem like that's going to be a factor anytime soon. So I understand why they want to go for this timeout. Need some kind of... It feels like Banana is something that they can't fight for right now. Plopsky's doing a great job. It's pretty aggressive, so maybe they could counter-nade him or something, but I don't know.
They did have some good success then in countering him in like 1 or 2 rounds towards the beginning of the half, and I think they were able to stunt his ability to get aggressive off of that, but we just haven't seen it in so long. They've been like really timid on utility for some reason playing this into Banana. And look, once again, there's nothing really thrown at Plopsky whatsoever. He's allowed to walk right out. To be fair, Otto's there for the trade a second later, so they at least deal with it in a better fashion this time. But I think the key is stopping that before it becomes an issue, and they weren't able to do that.
Grenade collision for Otto. Always uncomfortable. Yeah, Plopsky probably could have you know, not pushed forward, but on the other hand, he's been having a decent time of it. Easy shot there for Draken, and that's going to give them again the Banana control, even though it was stable for a little bit. Now they're having a good time, and this is almost a dream scenario. You've got the 1P player left, AWP to get the early peek, Molotov in case they try and hunt him down. Like that's gonna. Even if they have smokes, they don't want to throw those smokes to put out the Molotov to chase you down. And in fact, they can't. Like, if they do that, they're not chasing you down any longer. So, yeah, this is great. And they should even rotate, I think, Freddy closer to Arch. This double pit setup's pretty good, but they could have had 3 people here, I think. Wow.
Execute going to work its way in a moment. Again, there's that very well-timed Molly coming in from the CT side. It was Cr4zy that had a good one further into the first half, but this time it's Ancient that's going to stop the execute and delay it pretty significantly. 25 seconds, still no sign of Cr4zy working their way in, but they did throw a little bit of utility into Pit. Nexa able to work his way into that default little jump-up box there. Takes out Rusty with it. A few players on site, Disco specifically, and now Freddy working his way and going to cause issues. They still get the plant, but it doesn't matter. Ancient are still going to take very easy control over the round with 3 players standing, and they'll push up to 13.
Just delaying a bit, I guess, looking for some weapons or grenades to pick up, or maybe just having a fun time, I'm not sure.
I think they had to get the op from Banana.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good job on Freddy B pushing through the smoke. I mean, the timing was absolutely perfect, and with the distraction of Disco Doppler down in the pit, I think they were sort of looking for him as well. So, yeah, that all worked out really well. Draken over here. Yeah, I think, yes, so just as that kill happens, Freddy comes through, and it's all done. Good retake. 13 to 11. A lot of loss bonus now on the Cr4zy side, and that's, I mean, it's like a bit of a help. Oh, wow. They even were ready for it. It looked like they were sort of turning away for the flashbang. They still go down. Great kill. I like this early aggression. It's on Banana. It's over here. Swedish team really showing up with the CT side. More than I was expecting, actually. And
they're not necessarily overextending on Plopsy's case either, because he still obviously has the position on Banana. But this time, you know, he doesn't go crazy with it. He doesn't push out. He doesn't, you know, take an unnecessary duel. And now he's sitting back behind those sandbags, ready to take out Esperanto a second later. So Cr4zy are going to hit a complete miss at the beginning of this round for, you know, however many times this is now. And overall, Ancient will still have great control in the late round.
And maybe even worse in some sense. It's so hard for them to fight for Banana now because they don't have the grenades to try and fight Plopsky. Whether he's aggressive or not, like, they're going to have a hard time doing that. Great round here. Another one picked up on the board for Ancient. They are looking to, upset a little bit here. I mean, like I said, it's hard to know exactly the best of one who's going to be there. But I think, you know, even Twitch chat, we're on the side of Cr4zy. So there's always that. Yeah.
So potentially another upset to work its way. And we're not there just yet, though, as we also saw in our last matchup a team come very close to upsetting against a Vanguard, but unable to pull it off at the end of the day. And then just barely dropping at the end of regulation. Went all the way to round 30, but at 16-14 win strike. Still faltered and gave the opening win over to a Vanguard. we go, though. It's looking like Cr4zy are going to try to speed things up a little bit more this time. Working their way in quickly through mid. Next already taking some heat. Draken catches the first blow of players pushing past the mid choke point and into brackets. Besides this, rest of Cr4zy still going to try to group up. Push their way over towards Arches now. That'll eliminate the possibility of Draken getting another pick, but he can still deal some damage from range. And of course, you still have the rest of the team on site, ready to stop this too. Esperanto, how did he even get here?
Yeah, I think he must have exchanged places inside of the smoke. Oh, this is madness, isn't it?
Oh.
Esperanto, yeah. That's going to catch somebody off guard. He doesn't want to give it away early. He wants to actually set this up for a return to the B bomb site. Oh, this could be a huge play, but it's all been given away. Gets spotted. And that's going to, I think that's going to give it up. I kind of like this. This isn't really his. It's not even their fault. I like the idea. So you had to try it.
Off of the failed attempt to flank, and it was a good attempt at that. Just missed when it came time to actually knock some players out here. They are going to try to force themselves back into the A site. And unfortunately, they're in the same problem that they had when they were originally attempting to go for this execute towards Arches. The problem now is they don't have any utility to do it, as their smokes have been wasted away, so they are going to get melted. Same as these last rounds by Ancient, and they will go up on map and series point.
Yeah, I'm not even mad that Esperanto didn't take that shot. You have to appreciate that they had pistols and I think like one flashbang. So if he gets that shot on the guy running around in CT spawn, like I don't even know what the play's supposed to be. The guy in B bomb site has every advantage taking that fight long range. You can't smoke him off. So, and in the time that it's going to take you to try and take that fight, he's going to have called in a lot of backup. And I think that they did the right thing. It just didn't work out, unfortunately for them, because you're right, 15-11 now being the scoreline. Draken in front of the smoke. And Esperanto on the other side. Set up with a flashbang, but no headshots coming through. And they need it desperately right now.
It's do or die for Cr4zy here. 4 rounds straight without a single one drop between to trigger OT. Only gets them that far. Bit of an exchange with neither player coming out on top of that one. Auto connects onto Disco Doppelin, but it's only a leg, and Disco Doppelin himself is only able to take out 50 HP in the return. Cr4zy still trying to figure out exactly where they want to take this execute in the meanwhile, because they've got pressure working its way out on Banana. Draken as well, taking a little bit of chip damage with Esperanto getting the good engagement. Taking down Freddy B. Unfortunately, they're still smoked out, and they don't have the bomb or the rest of the team in position to execute yet, so they can't follow off of that.
You see Draken trying to bait them through the smoke, like taking that shot with the AWP and immediately out with the deagle. Like he was hoping that somebody was going to push through and just guess the timing. Now look at the rotation from Ancient. What a call this is turning out to be. Plopsky's showing up now with a Molotov. There's a couple of flashbangs as well. If they push through this, they might get crushed, especially that one Molotov there could be absolutely everything. Goes down in front, nobody's put it out yet. They have to wait with Dead. Finally goes out, but that's a lot of time. Draken gonna be picking up the kill on Letney. 18 seconds left. Another one for Draken here. The Swedish sniper coming out big. Esperanto picking up 1 kill. Nexter and Hunter as well. They might have saved it right at the end. That's the bomb going down at like 7 seconds. That means any more delay in that, if they hadn't got those last kills, that would have been the map here. Good job on Cr4zy, but my God, that Molotov was really painful for them.
The execute just barely pans out for them. And obviously Disco Doppelin won't be able to do much as he was legged from an upshot earlier. So he's back in T-spawn. More than likely will chill here just to save. And Cr4zy, get it done. Even if it's just barely, like you were mentioning, after the Molotov nearly cut them off and really opened up a shooting gallery for Draken to play off of. The problem, no one else that had rotated in. You know, Plopsky or the other guys able to find much of an impact here. And that is what allows for Cr4zy to still get into the site, still get the bomb onto the ground, still keep them in this map now at 12 to 15.
Yeah, it's very, very important, obviously. And now, I mean, now the long march begins because in some sense they're not going to break the economy of the Swedish team at the moment. That's just not going to happen. They have so much money to work with. And they just need to win the next 3 in a row to get it into overtime. Like, that's the only mission, that's the only option. And it's hard to see how that's going to happen. Like, look at how much money they have still. Like, 12,750 on Disco Doppelin. That's outrageous.
It's going to be a grind, to be sure. Auto tries to push himself forward to take the duel at half wall early on. It's going to be held back, of course, due to the molly. Not that Ancient were really in position to try and take it anyway. Ancient actually take a very, very passive stance on B this round, which is in tangent to what they've been doing before. However, it's this aggression on the inside of the apartments that was supposed to start the round out well for Ancient. It doesn't, though. Even worse, Draken also misses his chance to trade. They just have that 96 damage on the Hunter to take out from that.
That crossfire up in the apartments, you see that working out a lot, and especially when one player is that far forward, so that you can actually sometimes just, you know, get like the odd angle. That's a nice shot from freddyB. Taking down Esperanto was, I think, just trying to jump the timing there. They have 3 men stacked at B. Sort of similar to last round, actually, almost exactly similar to last round. They have everything set up for this defense. They even have Molotovs, and they have a lot of grenades, in fact, on the Swedish side. This could definitely be the game.
Freddy in position to check it, but he's been completely flashed out right into his face. No connection on that one. As Cr4zy are going to start to swarm into the site. You still have a player for Nubox. Rusty gets boosted up, but it's just a quick 1-for-1. Plopsky next to strike from sitting behind Nubox. Molly's going to force him out. He doesn't have intel to play off and just pre-fires the grill and nearly hits a player too. It's not going to make it happen. Even with all those trades, though, Ancient still have an even 2v2 to play off of. Freddy's going to be forced further back with the guard. Draken moving out. It's both the ups as well on the CT side. It's just Hunter, who was injured earlier in those apartment hallways. They don't even need the up to deal with him, but they're both going to play with it anyway because they don't know how much he's been injured. The up potentially to decide the map here now. It's Hunter has to go and hop around, but no! Freddy, he's going to take him out. Plenty of time left for the defuse, and Ancient are going to close out their opening match of the tournament.